Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for All You Can Eat Chelsea, the show that you love. Joined with the cast and crew, Miz and Younes. Miz, how you doing, bro? Big up, welcome back.
Yeah, man, doing good, man. Yeah, it's been exciting start to the Premier League, and we've still got a bit of business to do. So I think it's going to be a banging finish to the transfer window, man. Can't wait, man.
Yeah, it is. Well, listen, we're going to talk about it because I'm getting a little bit worried about us in a way, but we'll see what happens. Younes, bro, how are you feeling? Talk to me after that madness.
Bro, yeah, no, why get worried? It's all good, man. It's all good. We're about to spend some more money. It's looking nice. We're in the top half of the table. We're not bottom of the league. Happy days. Happy days.
It's not easy for some.
It's not. You've got to feel for them. Got to feel for United. Absolute mess.
I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of United reviews this season, just out of pure pleasure and nothing else. Yeah, I mean, let's get into it straight away. I mean, obviously, yeah, coming off the back of Tottenham, great performance. We're not gonna delve any more into those refereeing decisions. We all covered it enough, but great performance from everybody, really. I can't really find any weak points, and it'll be interesting to see if that influences the team that plays against Leeds, because you could say they all, to a degree, basically deserve to play. But obviously, we've got injuries. Kante, Kova, we've been down this road before. How because we know there's people that will continue to say if we don't get a centre mid, then God help our soul. And I was just speaking to a Liverpool fan last night, same thing. Like, if they don't get a centre mid, forget about the title. That's what he was saying to me. So, I mean, Miss, how important is it to you after seeing once again, and it didn't even take us into game week 3 to see the same injuries to the same two players that we know pick up injuries every season? It's like that wake-up call right before deadline day to say, listen, you know this is a problem. You know Kante is injury prone. You know Kova picks up injuries. I'm going to remind you again that they pick up injuries here. Bang, take that. And if you don't sort it out, on you. How do you feel about it?
Bro, I mean, we've wanted a midfielder, didn't we? From the get-go, there was talks about Basuma, there was talks about XYZ players. This is what I've been wanting Frankie de Jong so badly, but I don't know, man. I don't know if this guy is actually going to happen or not. Probably going to stay at Barcelona. I don't know why he wants to stay, but probably going to stay. Matisse, we're just going to have to accept the fact. We're going to have to do with Gallagher. We're going to have to do with maybe Ruben Loftus-Cheek at times. The biggest worry is you already have Kovacic and Kante. Kante's out for 4 weeks minimum, but then adaptation time, so add another 2 weeks before he actually gets into it again. So you're looking at maybe possibly by the end of August, September. All of a sudden, you're going to have to put a lot of pressure on Jorginho to play week in, week out again. And if this guy picks up an injury or he starts fatiguing very soon, we're going to have 2 games in a week. Very, very soon, we're going to start that. I'll be worried, but right now, hopefully Kovacic comes back. Maybe one more week for Kovacic, max 2. Look, Matisse, who else is out there without if it's not Frankie de Jong? Who else am I going to get in midfield that is capable? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to have to rely on Gallagher. I'm going to have to maybe rely on Ampadu if we don't let him go. I don't think we should. But all focus is on Gallagher, man, Matisse. I think he's, for me, as close as you can get, who can give what Kante gives with the ball in terms of making those runs into the box and whatnot. Without the ball, Gallagher has to defensively pick up a little bit, obviously. Yeah, that's where my state is at the moment, man. Like, I have to rely on Gallagher.
But Jorginho, who's going to replace him in the first phase?
His dad.
Oh my God!
Jorginho Senior.
Because what we can't see is a Gallagher Ruben Loftus-Cheek pivot. We can't.
No, we can't.
We are forgetting about one guy here, though, guys.
Ampadu.
No, not even.
Chukwuemeka.
Yeah.
He's also at 8. And he's very young.
Potentially play 6,
I mean,
I think,
young
as well.
He's young, and I mean, he has had in the past where he's played in a more deeper role.
Yeah.
The thing is that people have is he's 18. Like,
yeah,
okay, like imagine like having no option, going, all right, turn to the 18-year-old, mate. You're gonna have to do this for us for about 6 weeks now because everyone's out. It'd be an opportunity of a lifetime, though. We won't have a choice. But look,
just quickly, Younes, just on that point before I let you go again.
Yeah,
Chuku being 18, there's so much you can teach to an 18-year-old, right? Like you can mold him into however you want to. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like I mentioned it quite a few times, but every time I think of Chukwuemeka, I think the way that Camavinga was used at Madrid. You know what I mean? It always pops into my mind. I'm just like the way that he was always pushed, with half an hour to go on, play half an hour, play 20 minutes. And now it's like, you just know him and Tchouaméni are going to be the guys to take over from Modric and Toni Kroos, I think. Like that is just how it is. I think it could be a big opportunity for him if we do end up with the same scenario like we did last season. But with De Jong, I went away on Thursday thinking I'm going to miss big news. Like I'm going to be away. I might not be able to upload. We're going to sign him. And then I've come back and I've heard nothing. Like literally nothing has happened since I left. I'm like, what's going on? Although today we know that apparently Chelsea are willing to spend more than 150 million on 4 players, one of them being De Jong. So we are still going for him. I just don't know what's going on. I hope we get him because at this rate, we need him, man. With these injuries now popping up very early, we need De Jong. So we better get him.
I don't understand why he's so keen to stay at Barcelona. Like, money is not the issue. Like, we've always said to Barcelona, whatever you want, we'll give you that. It's literally De Jong now. Like, he's got to agree to move to Chelsea.
Is it the deferred wages?
Well, we've agreed to pay that.
Yeah. Yeah. So did United, to be fair. They just can't offer him Champions League football, but they offered him the same thing. I mean, to think that, I don't get it. All these players are like, oh, no, I'm by Barcelona. Can you take a 75% wage cut? Yes, I can. Barcelona. What's going on over there?
They've been hypnotized.
At this point, I'm actually thinking they have been,
Yeah. It's insane, honestly. It really is. And I've started to just slowly stop thinking about this De Jong situation because it's just dragging out far too long, and all of it points to him staying there and taking a wage reduction. That's what it points to. If he hasn't made his decision by now, then I don't understand where he's going because it's very simple. The situation is very simple. Either take a wage reduction and stay at Barcelona, and you don't get your money back. No guarantees, no receipts, no nothing.
How do you accept that?
Or you come to Chelsea. It's very simple.
And minutes are not confirmed for him either. Like Xavi actually said to him, I'm not sure if I can give you minutes. And I'm not sure if I can give you minutes in midfield with Pedri, Gavi, Busquets, whoever else they have, Frank Kessié, they've got in.
Yep.
Xavi said, you're probably going to be a CB. And they've got Christensen. They've got Koundé. They've got Piqué. They've got Araujo. They've got Eric Garcia. Brother, where do you think you're playing?
Water bottle boy.
It's bonkers how they accept this. Like, you can get more minutes, more money. You'd be a first name, probably one of the first names on the team sheet. Best league in the world. You'd be playing the same competition as Barca. You'd probably beat Barca down the line, hopefully.
Yeah. It's like
what are you doing?
It's like trying to take somebody out of a toxic relationship, isn't it? And they're just insistent on staying. And you're just like, red flag here, red flag there, red flag here, red flag there, red flag there. And it's like, nope, don't care. Stay in there.
But I love her, Matisse. I love her. I love her so much.
It's insane. It's insane. And
absolute beta male.
But we need an alternative target. We do, because we need an alternative target, because if we can't get him, then who are we going to go for? Because we can't not address this issue. If we don't address this issue, then we're shooting ourselves in the foot, because we know what the situation is with our midfield, and it's only going to keep on happening time and time and time again. So what are we going to do? What are we actually going to do? Because I can't trust these guys to play 38 games. I can't even trust him to play 30 games.
Ampadu has to stay, Matisse. Honestly, Ampadu has to stay.
Yeah.
Can any of you play DM?
I'm not cut out for that, man.
in a past life, perhaps, but yeah, there's no chance of me being able to physically reach those demands.
Matisse breaking legs.
There was talks about Casemiro yesterday. I don't think it happened.
That's for United, though, isn't it?
It was about United us as well.
But you know how it is, Younes. Like journalists, opportunistic player up for grabs. Chelsea's looking for a CM. Let's tie the two together and create an article about it. We know how journalism works. Yeah. But I don't know why some parts of the Chelsea fan base are against it. Like, he's a top player. Like, I don't think it happened because apparently Man United's offering 400k.
Yeah, it's the 400k a week, 5-year deal.
That ain't happening.
And he's just entered his 30s as well. So people are thinking, if this brother drops off, man, on them wages, bloody hell.
Yeah. But him just as a player, though, he's a top class player. Like Casemiro, part of one of the greatest midfield trio with Kroos and Modric. Yeah. Everyone talks about Casemiro, Kroos, Modric. Physically, he'll be up for the challenge in the Premier League. I think he's very good on the ball as well. Can definitely do the job side to side without the ball in a defensive manner. Casemiro is the only one that I've not seen anyone else that we've been linked with.
Yeah, there's not many options as well out there that I can really think of personally. De Jong wasn't even a DM, but it was something in the midfield to give a revamp. And De Jong can do nearly everything, and maybe even be coached to do the last final percentages as well.
He can play in a double pivot, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's his natural habitat. Yeah. So it would not have been absolutely 10 out of 10 perfect, but you're giving it a good 8.5, 9. And that's as good as it gets right now. I don't know. I against Leeds, you'd expect that Jorginho Gallagher should be fine. I don't really want to move Ruben out of that position. He's been brilliant, so keep him where he's happy, where he's performing. Don't change it. I think when you start chopping and changing now, moving him and putting Reece back, that's where you lose the chemistry, continuity, whatever you're trying to build on certain flanks, keep it. I think Cucurella has been brilliant as well. I wouldn't change that. Just try and keep as much as you can the same, because I think if we can put together 11, 12, 13 players that are playing every week, that are in some sort of rhythm and momentum, we might actually start to show some consistency. I don't really want to see as much rotation this year, because I know Ziyech doesn't want to be here. I know Pulisic doesn't want to be here. I know Hudson-Odoi is going to leave. There's not really much to rotate about. Trevor could be going out on loan if Fofana comes in. Alonso, Emerson, even if they don't get their moves, you're not touching this football pitch. You can go and check out PL2. Like, there's not really that much up for debate, in my opinion. It's just the midfield with the injuries, and that's about it. But the defense, we know who our 4 centre-backs should be. It should be, Koulibaly, Silva, Fofana, and then if Trev stays, he's 1. If Cucurella plays in the back 3, he's 1. There's not much to really negotiate about or rotate. Cup games is different, but in Premier League games, I'm trying to see 12, 13 players max, unless there's an injury crisis, because we need to start developing some chemistry. Even in the Tottenham game, despite the poor finishing, Kai, Sterling, Mount, poor finishing, but they're starting to hopefully develop something. I don't think there's any need to throw Pulisic into that. I don't even know if he wants to even be here. It doesn't sound like he does. I don't think there's any need to throw Ziyech into that. Leave it. I would just leave them. And those 3 that I mentioned are actually durable. They don't get injured as well. So you can actually potentially develop something until the new signings come in, which we'll start to discuss now. But yeah, I mean, any before we move on, any particular highlights and concerns from the Tottenham game is from a performance standpoint, just from our player standpoint going into Leeds?
Nothing that we don't know. I think I was very surprised at how intense and how energetic we looked, which was great. I just want to see that on a consistent level now. I want to see that, over the next 10 games, at least 8 to 9 out of 10 in that level, in that intensity. Because We'll beat most teams then. I'll tell you right now. However, the only gripe is, and I think you guys will agree, it's the finishing. Before the referee shenanigans that took place in that match, we should have had 4 goals minimum in that match already. Like, Spurs should have been put to the sword from the get-go. Kai Havertz missed an unbelievably easy chance from Reece James's cross. Sterling cut back inside the box, hit it for 6. Mason Mount, couple of shots wide inside the box. Conor Gallagher as well comes to the final third, overthinks, starts to give the ball away. You got to be confident. You're playing for Chelsea Football Club, man. Take the shot. Because at Crystal Palace, you take the shot and you get a goal. So take the shot. Don't lay it off. Ruben Loftus-Cheek from those wide areas coming into the box. Don't be scared. Pull the trigger. Take the shot. That's what worries me. That the energy, the intensity could be there. But as Thomas Tuchel said, besides Sterling, it's the same people up front again. So can we expect goals? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Younes, how do you feel about it? I mean, how many players ideally do you want in this attack? Because I mean, I was saying to Miz as well on Twitter yesterday, I'm very worried that we don't bring in too many of these upgrades, but we'll see if they're upgrades, but they should be. I don't think they're out and out clear upgrades like Rafinha was, like Dembele was, like clear trajectory wise, bang, you know, gonna be on another level. We're now looking at like Aubameyang, Zaha, and I'm sure they'll be better. I mean, it's very hard to be worse, but I don't want to overload on these players. Like maybe 1, but not 2, 3, because I think if they all pen down 4 or 5 year deals, which they could, and they should, because that's what a deal usually is. It's very rare that you sign deals for less. Then future transfer markets, when we really want to actually go for the title, I know these guys are not title. They're not title winners. I know these guys are not on the level of Man City, Liverpool forwards. They're just trying to bridge the gap. So
yeah,
when we really now need to pick it up and get serious, which is not going to be that far away. You know, the way Todd Bowie's moving and the way Thomas Tuchel had his targets listed out this season, if he had got all of his targets, you would say that we need to minimum be the little horse that Jose Mourinho called minimum. Because if you had brought in Rafinha, Dembele, we're even looking at Lewandowski. If Barcelona didn't exist,
oh man, we'd be loaded.
We'd be the little horse minimum. We'd have to be the little horse.
Yeah.
So something tells me that, listen, Todd Bowie knows that we want to win, and I think as an ownership, the best thing a new ownership can do is take a Premier League title as soon as possible. It settles everybody down. I don't think a new ownership can continue what Roman left off, which was fourth, third. They need to go and get a major trophy of their own. Roman had the Champions League not so long ago. So, and even Thomas Tuchel as a manager, you can only go so many seasons without competing for the Premier League at Chelsea, even with new ownership, in my opinion. So we know we're going through a transition, but maybe I always aimed for next season. Next season, I want to see a challenge. And I don't really see why we shouldn't be aiming for that. If we have the same level of standard of signings we signed this summer so far, and we add to that again, and then plus, you know, in 2023, Barkley contract runs out. Well, I don't know, Emerson, because I think it's 2024. We stupidly extended it like by a year. But we know we have a lot of deadwood players leaving, guaranteed to leave if they don't get new contracts this summer coming. For me, there's no excuse why we shouldn't be. We need to take those steps to try and compete. So these attacking signings, how confident are you in getting them short-term, medium-term, long-term? Because we've got to look at that on these contracts.
Yeah, I feel like, and we'll see what happens, especially with an Aubameyang. It's probably best, and I think everyone will expect, even him, for it to be fairly short-term, medium-term at best, because, you know, at 33, you're going to time down to maybe, I guess it's probably going to be a 3-year deal. No more. I'd be shocked. I think he'd be shocked. 36, you know, what are you expecting at 36? Unless you're moving like Ronaldo and you can still play like and run like you're 25. Like, I don't know if your body is in check like that. Maybe it is. Who knows? But still, realistically, this should just be a short-term solution because there isn't anyone else in the market that can attract enough for us to go, this is someone we can look for the next 5-6 years. Much like we're doing with other positions, we're looking to tie players down to 6-7 year deals now. Fofana, apparently a 6-year deal. You know, even our existing players, we're looking to pen down to 6-7 year deals. And that's all part of this new structure that Todd Bowley's bringing in, which apparently is quite a recurring theme in the United States. Over in the American sports, it's a big thing, apparently. So I understand that, the longevity, but with the striker situation, with that forward line, there's no one out there that you can go and go, okay, yeah, he's 24, boom, here you go, 6 years. Like, there's no name. We had options before. Doesn't seem like there's much now. For now, Aubameyang will probably be just the guy that we settle with for now. And then next summer, the summer after, even January, we monitor options. We see who's available. We, you know, inspect the market a little bit. And then we go from there. So personally, yes, I still think it's an upgrade. And I think it gets us over the line. You know, I think someone like Aubameyang for this season, I think is cool. I'll be happy with that. Going into next season, hopefully if he performs this season, cool. But we should have already started from next summer, perhaps looking who else is out there that we can go, who's young, that we can see someone with a lot of potential, that we can offer a big deal and can come in to become the main guy. So then when Aubameyang's time probably comes to an end, which won't be too long, then, you know, we easily step in. In the same way that you saw Giroud at Chelsea performing at the level that he was performing at, despite him not being the main guy and at his age, but he gave us some key moments when we needed it. I feel like Aubameyang can do that, but even a little bit more, because he should be able to. So hopefully it works out for now, at least. But we do need to bring someone in, because this problem about finishing isn't something that started yesterday. It even didn't start under Tuchel. It started long ago, and it's still here. And I don't get it. I feel like we've been cursed. So it needs to come to a standstill. We need to somehow figure a way to get goals consistently. Sterling isn't going to do it by himself. And if anything, like we said when he first signed, I'm scared that if he drags on for too long, we bring his level down. I don't want to do that. So hopefully as well, someone on the right-hand side. I still think we need someone on the right-hand side as well as a leading man. The whole front three technically needs to change. Technically. So,
I mean, Younes, if you look at Lukaku's gone, Timo Werner's gone.
Yeah.
And so far we've only got Sterling in. So it's 2 gone, only 1 in. Potentially Ziyech, Pulisic, Calamatona, they're apparently desperate to leave. They're desperate to leave. So you got to let them go.
Yep.
So you're looking at 5 players: Lukaku, Werner, Ziyech, Calamatona, Pulisic. 5 players gone potentially by the end of the transfer window. And so far we've only got in Sterling in. So completely understand what Matisse is saying. He's worried that we don't want to bring in, because let's be honest, Aubameyang, Zaha, whoever else, these weren't our first choices. We have to be honest about that. They weren't. But this is what I was saying to Matisse, that you got to respect the circumstance as well. You got to honor the circumstance. The circumstance is we can't just go into this, well, we can't continue this season with who we already have, because they've not worked out and Thomas Tuchel just doesn't want them. So we have to give him something to work with. And a player like Aubameyang, I'm not too peeved off about the age. Like, I know people get worried about players being above 30, but some of these strikers, they're still quality. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like most strikers, they mature with age as well. They know the game. They know what things need to happen. And the fact that Thomas Tuchel, I don't know about you guys, in the last couple of press conferences pre-match, he's been very jubilant about this particular, talk. Whenever Aubameyang comes, he's very chirpy, very happy. He's like, I will take those 79 goals. I'll take those 79 goals that he scored when he was in Dortmund. Thomas Tuchel fancies this. So let's go with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so far, he's not fancied any of the players that he's had.
The 3-year deal just scares the shit out of me. It's a long time. I think
I don't think it'll be 3, Matisse. I feel like maybe it'll be 2.
I think
with
2
the option of
with an
one.
option of the 1. Yeah. I think it needs to be that. I think 3 years is a bit excessive.
I think Aubameyang will understand that as well. You're 33, man. 2 years will take you to 35. after that, you're probably going to start thinking about winding down your career as well. Maybe MLS, maybe Qatari League, Kuwaiti League. I don't know. Get your final payday. So I think but I think, Matisse, I think it's going to be a bumper deal though. Like it'll be 2 years with good wages.
Yeah,
something around sterling wages. Do you know what I mean?
That's a lot of money, miss.
He ain't leaving for. Do you know what I mean? He ain't coming for 2 years for 100K a week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I expect like a little 180, 170 maybe.
Nah, he ain't coming for
What is he on that?
But the thing is, my thing is, if you're paid 300K, you have to perform like a 300K player.
You have to,
and that means I'm expecting 18 Premier League goals, 17 Premier League goals minimum.
Is that too much to expect for Aubameyang, who's a proven Premier League player? I think we have to expect that.
You think he can do it? I'm not sure. I have him around about the 14, 15 mark at the moment in my head. But listen, I would love to be proven wrong. The more goals he scores, the better. I just feel like last time I seen him in the Premier League, obviously it wasn't the best moment for him. He was watching the All or Nothing. I
still need to finish that.
I'm watching it at the moment. Obviously, him and Arteta fell out. You know, on the pitch, his performances weren't up to scratch. We've already spoken about on this show professionalism and all those things. I expect Tuchel to iron out any issues. I hope that I know Tuchel said there's room for, I think this was a dangerous comment, by the way. He said there's room for a player like him who turns up late. And listen, he'll be the final judge of that. But I do think that's a risky game to play if you're willing to allow a new signing like Aubameyang, who hasn't done anything at this football club. If he does start turning up late to training, late to this, late to that, and you're just going to let it go because you know it's okay, and you know at Dortmund it was fine. Listen, I hope that doesn't come and slap you in the face, because professionalism in this sport is very important, and it's very important across the board for the whole squad to see and to set those standards so everybody follows. And what you don't want is him turning up late and then nothing happens. So then everybody's like, well, I'll turn up late, and then what, you want to discipline me? And then that's where the arguments start. And it's easy to just completely disregard this because he knows the player, but we've seen drama at Chelsea every single damn season, and it happens every season. So I'm about to say it early, get it out the way. That I hope that quote isn't too serious, because we have drama every year. So I'm not going to now assume that we don't have drama this year just because what it happens every year. So yeah, we need to hopefully correct that, because I'm not keen on that whole idea there. But what about Zaha then? Talk to me about Zaha, guys. Is this a double swoop? I mean, is he coming into the final year of his contract, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in his final year, man. Just before we go on Zaha, just quickly bring out that stats for Aubameyang for last season, which supposedly didn't go well for him. He still banged in 20 goals.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't go well in the Premier League.
And he got 3 assists. Like, I mean, this guy, he knows how to put the ball back into the back of the net. And in regards to what you said, drama, of course, Chelsea Football Club always have drama. But for me, that drama with Arteta, like, I don't know if he's had other dramas in Dortmund, or because Tuchel said he's never had that issue in Dortmund prior to Arteta. And even when Arteta came, I don't think Aubameyang had issues, only that one blip. I don't think he's been a serial offender. I'm not sure. Has he caused havoc?
Even at Arsenal under previous efforts.
He had quite a few. Under Arteta, he had quite a few incidences.
So that could be
all mainly Arteta.
Yeah, that could be a beef with Arteta not understanding him and whatnot. I mean, if Tuchel seems to know this guy, and Tuchel has said, like, I actually love this player. He keeps in touch with him as well. So I'm sure there shouldn't be any issue.
Physically, as you get older, Premier League defenders, strength, pace, you think he can handle it week to week? Because I know you showed the stats there, but the Premier League stats aren't great. And that's what I'm focusing on, because I know La Liga to Premier League is a whole different ballgame. We see it all the time. So is he, because we know he's on the downward trajectory. That's just natural as a player of because the difference between him and Giroud is he relies on his whole career acceleration, speed, running in behind. Giroud's not that type of striker. Giroud was always going to excel with age, always going to grace with age, because back to goal, link up play, not fast anyway, target man. Drogba. All those type of strikers always excel with age. Or they're excelling in their playmaking, like Wayne Rooney dropping into the 10. Harry Kane will do that. These quick strikers that are fast, that run in behind, that rely upon their speed to get past players. When they get older, they lose the speed. What happens next? What happens next? That's my other concern. Is Aubameyang going to evolve his game into some other type of striker, if need be? If it's not working, if the whole running in behind thing, speed is not coming off today. If there's Kyle Walker who's faster than him, if there's this defender that's faster than him, stronger than him, what's the plan B?
I still think he's physically strong enough. I still think I don't know maybe a bit of muscle memory might kick in. Who knows? But I still think the fact he's not been long away too long. You know, he's been at Barca for what, a season. You know, season and a bit. I don't think that's too long. I think he's been active, which is good. He's still been playing consistently at Barca, which is good. If he's able to come back to Chelsea now and come to the Premier League, come back to the Premier League now, I don't think the gap is serious enough. If he'd spent 3 years away, I'd be like, okay, like maybe your level was dropped. But I think if he picks up from where he left off and that intensity was to kick in, I still think he gets his body back to shape again for the next season, 2 max. And then at that point, I think we'll see a decline. I think the decline is inevitable. But in that time, can he evolve his game? That's up to him. I'm not sure exactly what he'd evolve into. All we know is what we've seen at him at Arsenal, mainly, which is, and he was already in his 30s when he left Arsenal. So the way that he was able to get into good spaces, his finishing overall, though, is, I think, the key indicator here. What we're really, really after is if you get the ball to his feet, all right, he'll know what to do. He's sticking it in the net. Whether he's got a defender or 2, or he's found space, or he's struggling to find space, you just have an idea of what he's able to do if you just get the ball to his feet. Hopefully we get the ball to his feet. And that's it. If we do, we'll be all right.
And you know what, Younes? That is the greatest way to sort of figure out why a player like Aubameyang is needed. Like, do we really need him to be someone who's physical and imposing and, you know, brushing against the defenders and whatnot? You look at the chances that we've created against Spurs. Not much we can talk about Everton. That game we weren't in the races. Still we ended up getting the win. But Everton game, I know not every single game is going to be Everton kind of game. I understand. Spurs kind of game, because that was a bit open. Spurs wanted to play as well. They wanted to press. There will be times where teams will predominantly sit deep. But even then, with movement, you find yourself into the box. Like, for example, take that moment when Havertz ran in to that Reece James cross. Are we saying that Aubameyang won't be able to do the same movement that Havertz did? 100% Aubameyang will be able to make the same run and get into that position that Havertz did. The difference is, I think Aubameyang finishes that.
Yeah.
Are we saying when Sterling missed that glaring chance inside the box, that Aubameyang won't be able to find himself in those areas and smash the ball away? I think he does that. Now, if we expect Aubameyang to do what Haaland did against Bournemouth, hold the play, attract 3 defenders, then putting the ball through for Gundogan to finish, I think we've got the wrong profile. And then we should have kept Lukaku, because the whole idea of having a focal point would be that type of a player who attracts defenders and opens up players like KDB, Gundogan, and Foden. I don't think that's what Tuchel's looking for. I think he's looking for someone who's nimble up front, get into those positions when we find those key passes into the box and just finish it. So as long as he can have his finishing and as long as he doesn't lose the burst of pace.
That's the key. Yeah.
I think he has the burst of pace. And we don't want him to run back and forth. It's a burst of pace, that 10 meters. Yeah. You beat the man. I think he'll still be able to do that.
Yeah.
Plus, we have 2 months. If he were to sign, he's got 2 months to settle in. Then we've got Arsenal at the bridge. Do your thing.
Listen, two things, right? Because I am intrigued by this signing, and I want to make it clear because I know I'm playing devil's advocate as well. I got to ask these questions because I know you two are way more for it than I am. I much prefer Aubameyang to Ronaldo. Much prefer. I think Aubameyang makes a lot more sense than Ronaldo in terms of the way we play, what we're trying to do. Tuchel's relationship with him ticks all those boxes. Two things for me. Aubameyang shouldn't need too much time to settle in. This is instant impact. Exactly. This is you're 33. You were in London before last Christmas. You haven't even probably moved house. Your house is still here. Aspilicueta shouldn't even have to help you move home. You know the city. You know Soho. You know Mayfair. You know where not to walk. You know where to go. You know the tube. Everything is there. Like, I'm not expecting now 3 months down the line, 2 goals, and everyone's give him time. I don't have time. I need goals now. We need goals now. You're coming in here because on this money, on this age, instant impact. There's no excuse. And there's also, as much as I love him, no excuse for Tuchel. This is your attacker. This is who you want. This is the player that you've worked with. You should be able to get the best out of him. He doesn't really follow the Chelsea mandate in terms of 3-year, 2-year deal for a 33-year-old. So that's on you because the old policy was 1 year, and I actually like that policy to a degree because I think it saved us from having aging players declining in our team and not being able to do anything about it. This is on Tuchel and Aubameyang. They have to make this work because Tuchel cannot bring in another big name and get it wrong. And even if Aubameyang flips out and starts missing training that's on Tuchel as well. You have to make sure that you got this right from a player profile standpoint, and then you got this right from a character standpoint. Because if anything goes wrong, it's on him. I'm not going to be defending him on Big Six, telling him, oh, well, we didn't see this coming, and with Aubameyang. No. This is on you, and it has to work, because if you're trusted to pick out a striker 2 seasons on the trot and you sign off on two players and they both flop like that, that tells me that you have an issue building the squad. And we need you to be able to build this squad with a DOF later on, because at the end of the day, we're going for a rebuild. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse for this one. This one has to pull off. What about Zaha? Because Zaha is a very interesting player, man. He's exciting. He dribbles. He carries the ball. He'll go past players for fun. So he'll help us in that dynamic. I still think if we get him and Aubameyang, we definitely didn't get an elite passer anywhere. We didn't get a Dembele. We didn't get a chance creator from that standpoint. Maybe there isn't any options in that department anymore. I mean, we saw him against Liverpool, great finish, but then we also saw him missing great opportunities as well, which is right. That's what we're used to a little bit. So how important is it? Because you said we need a right winger, Younes. I agree. I think we need a right winger desperately, and I think a lot of people are forgetting about Broja very quickly. I'm willing to see what Broja can do in a decent amount of games, because otherwise, if we're not, we all talk about, giving this chance to Broja. The chance is here. Either if we're not going to give it to him, he's going to leave, and that's not him to be blamed, because he's come off the bench twice. So at some point, we should feel confident enough to start him and say, "Here's your opportunity." If we're not brave enough to give Broja an opportunity, then we can't complain if he leaves. We cannot complain. So how important is Zaha to you, Ms. This one? Because that Liverpool game, the first half versus the second half, was hilarious.
Yeah, do you know what? Even the Arsenal game, Zaha, for me, he did very well. Look, once again, Zaha is not someone that I wanted. When the transfer window opened, and if someone said, "Miz, who's your dream winger?" I did not say Wilfried Zaha. Like that name did not come into my head from the get-go. It was initially Ousmane Dembele. That was the primary target. Then it quickly became Rafinha. And then we went down the ladder, and now here we are with Zaha. But I have to say, once again, Zaha, 29, I think, will turn 30. A lot of Premier League experience. Did really well last season as well. He's banged in for quite a few goals last season. I know a lot of people say, a lot of them were penalties, but he's got the profile. Younes a couple of weeks ago said profile. Honestly, that stuck with me. I think we need to forget about names, Zaha, this, that. I think we need to understand profiles.
Hey, this ain't the Ronaldo fanboys telling me now to forget about profile, is it, in this show? Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
He got me. You know how I feel. Younes will say this.
Ronaldo has a profile. Ronaldo is the profile.
He was a fanboy. Like I honestly, I still would take Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, Younes, I don't know what like. I don't know. There's no meaning for it. Like I want Ronaldo. Like I don't. There's no answer to it.
Ronaldo is the biggest bank account profile the club could possibly ask for. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Do you know what? At this point, bring me Aubameyang and Zaha just so Ronaldo doesn't come. That will actually make me feel a lot
Ronaldo
better.
For me is that irrational choice when I forget about logic and I forget about football. I'm in a dream world. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that aside, with Zaha, can take his man on. You know. Shoot from range, like we've seen him score bangers. Do you know what I mean?
It's like in Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. He's got that grit, that aggressive nature about him, which is good to have as well. My only concern with Zaha is he has a tendency of losing his head in the game sometimes, you know, which triggers off
Darwin
Núñez. Yeah. Oh my God.
That was dumb, but yeah.
That's for a different show. I couldn't stop laughing because I could see what Anderson was doing the entire match. I was like, that's a Premier League experienced defender just working the striker over, and he fell for it. Zaha has a tendency of losing it like royally. And then he gets a red card and it just becomes crazy. So that for me is a bit of an issue. But last year of the contract, I think people were saying £25 million.
Yeah.
Can you really go wrong with that?
Bring Aubameyang and Zaha for say £25 million, maybe.
Yeah,
sorry, £45 million. Yeah.
Yeah. So all up, I think Aubameyang will be about approximately 25, Zaha 25. So you're looking at about 50 million for two of these players.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying no. Because I do think these players are good players. Zaha is a good player, and I get it. You know, Pulisic, we're sick and tired of him now, aren't we? Let's just say
I think he's tired of it as well.
I don't think he's tired of himself.
You know what? I would back Pulisic as much as Pulisic would back himself. I'm that person. Like, I think Pulisic has potential. But if he doesn't want to fight again for it, and he feels like he demands to start and he wants to start, I know he wants to start because of the World Cup. And I know he wants to start for that. I get it. But at the end of the day, you haven't done anything to justify starting week in, week out. So you have to fight. It's as simple as that. You know in yourself, you take a look at your own performance throughout last season, you cannot sit there honestly and say that you deserve to start games. You cannot say that. You have to once again fight. And if he doesn't want to fight, I can't fight for him to stay either. Like, I can't sit here and say, oh, Pulisic must stay. I wanted to see I would give Pulisic one more year. I was willing to do that. And then you got one more year on your contract, 2024 expires and you just leave. But I'm also not going to cry if Pulisic goes. I'm not going to cry if Ziyech goes. I'm not even going to cry if Hudson-Odoi goes on loan or whatever, or sold with a buyback, because I feel like all of these players could do with a new environment, like you guys said. If they don't want to be here, that's a massive red flag. We should never go into the season with players that don't want to be here. For me, you go into a season with players that don't want to be here, you're already setting yourself back. So I get the need to bring in these fresh new players that want to be here, potentially, that have a point to prove, that Tuchel selects, because then you can judge Tuchel on this attack more. Every time we talk about this on forums or on different sites, people say, oh, Tuchel can't coach an attack. Tuchel can't coach an attack. I think that's bollocks, first of all. I think he can coach a team to create chances. We've seen it against Tottenham. We played really well. We created. Is he a Pep level? No, of course not. He's definitely not a Pep level. Is he even a Klopp level? Maybe not. He's probably not a Klopp level. But I still think as a manager, every manager is going to have strengths and weaknesses. And is Klopp an elite defensive coach? I don't think he is.
No.
But no one talks about it. The fact that we have 15 chances against them, probably both games in the cup final. What's going on with that defense? The fact that in Palace and in Fulham, multiple chances conceded with that high line. And if you didn't have such elite level individuals in Alisson, in Van Dijk when he's at his best, would you concede more goals? You probably would in that high line, leaving all those chances, all that space behind, all those 1v1s. So every manager's got their own weakness. Because that don't happen under Tuchel, I'll tell you that. Every manager's got their own little weakness, and that's why you bring in an Anthony Barry, and that's why you bring in Liverpool's throw-in coach and all these different things to help cover up that. Ferguson didn't even take training. People could say Pep's kryptonite is the Champions League. Why is that? Every manager's got something to prove. But with Tuchel and the attack, cool. If he gets his own guys, that's where now we expect more. So if Zaha and Aubameyang come in at their age, you expect instant impact. And Zaha, I guess you could say as well, he's in this league, he knows it. There's no adaptation period. Again, he's in London. We're not even going to guys from like Manchester or Liverpool or Southampton. Bro, you live here.
Guys that won't even have to move house. It's like the company, like you work for a company, and then the company down the road comes for you.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yeah. Like you live in this city. There's no adaptation period whatsoever for either of these two players. They should, Zaha, you could say he's changing system. He's never worked with Tuchel, so give that a little grace period. But even still, you'd hope that Tuchel's signing somebody that we don't have to have these conversations of, we need to play. I mean, because my biggest concern with Zaha is he not an out-and-out winger?
Yes, I would think.
So with our tucked-in 10s, is he going to be a Pulisic and a Hudson-Odoi and a Ziyech that we say in 2 months' time, why is he not playing on the touchline? Why is he's not playing in his natural position? He's a winger. Or am I bugging?
I think we could potentially see a situation where, if Aubameyang comes in as well, you can have Aubameyang through the middle. Sterling potentially could be on the right, Zaha on the left. And you could potentially, Thomas Tuchel might say, look, the wing backs with the ball, maybe initially start off as tucked in and allow the 10s to be wide. And then from there, whatever goes, I suppose. If you want to cut in, then the wing backs will overlap. If you want to stay still wide and take your man on and then enter the box, then you can have the fullbacks coming in or once again go out. So I think the idea is, Matisse, whoever it is, you've got to be able to take your man on. So whether it's Sterling, whether it's Zaha, and whether you're wide or in, whoever is the guy that is defending you, you got to turn and not look for the back pass all the time. Take him out of the game.
Yeah.
That is your job.
And
much like what Sterling looks to do. I've seen in this season already, he's been able to take his players on. Previous seasons as well, I've seen him able to take his player on. Can he do it Dembele, Rafinha level? I don't think so, but I think he's more brave than Havertz and Mount and Callum and Pulisic, who prefer to pass the ball backwards. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And I think that's potentially why Ziyech has struggled as well, because he's not one to go past players. He doesn't have the speed. So I hear that. And I think Zaha and Aubameyang, you could maybe say, like you said, interchangeable, isn't it? Between the striker position and the left side position, those two you'd hope would be comfortable in both those spaces. Zaha's definitely quite strong as well. I would say he's not going to be bullied. I mean, unless it's Reece James, and now Reece James would be on his team, so shouldn't have too much of a problem with that. The advantage we have with these clubs as well. I mean, Barca, Alonso. If we have to bring in Aubameyang so they can register Alonso, then God, listen, I will do backflips in my living room. Yeah, I will do backflips all day long for Aubameyang. Bring me that man and bring his Spider-Man mask from Dortmund as well.
How has the world come to this, Matisse? How has the world come to this?
Bring him today. I want him signed today. Zaha. I mean, listen. There's so many links for Gallagher to Palace. For me, it makes no sense if with our injury issues and with our lack of midfield options, Gallagher can't go anywhere now. He can't go anywhere, so he has to stay. So Palace will have to leave that one at the back post.
Palace apparently is getting Ismail Sarr from Watford.
So is that the Zaha replacement?
Few people are saying,
yeah,
that could be.
that could be it, you know. And then
and Zaha's keen. Like apparently the word is Chelsea Football Club, Champions League.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
This is my second chance at life. I feel like I'm being reincarnated. That's how he feels.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to get Palace for the rest of his life.
Well, his move at Man United didn't go to plan, did it? And he ended up back at Palace. So, I think even for him, I would like to think on a personal level, there's an Ivorian connection there, isn't there? Yeah, you definitely look up and you go,
no.
He touched the spot, didn't he?
There he is, poking at the bear once again.
That's how to close the sale. Okay, like if you want Zaha, you just feed that at the end, and he's like, "Give me the pen. I need to sign now." With Zaha though, I don't know. I think he's an upgrade for sure. And what we've got and players that don't want to be here and whatnot, I take Zaha any day of the week. But is he like? What's the word here? Does he excite you? I don't know. Like, I think he'll come into Chelsea. I think there'll be games where
none of these players
he'll do well. Well, exactly.
I'm going to keep it completely real. None of these players are like exciting me because they have a point to prove. And I feel like sometimes as fans, we see something new, a new shiny toy, especially when the current toys are rusty and broken and they're not working properly. And we think, oh, new shiny toy, excited. I'm actually going to take a different approach. I'm not going to be excited. And I'm actually genuinely not excited. If I was excited, you'd hear Rafinha. You'd hear Gabriel Jesus. You'd hear Dembele. If we signed that three, I would have had an orgasm. I would be excited for those three. You told me Rafinha, Gabriel Jesus, and Dembele? Oh, can you imagine? Even Rafinha at right wing back, you know, because I know we're looking at Gordon. Again, doesn't excite me. This is something that I need to see what's going to happen. Rafinha right wing back, rotating with Loftus-Cheek. Dembele as a right attacking midfielder, who, by the way, is injured again, apparently. Isn't he?
Oh, wow. Is he?
Yeah. So that's the L on that one. That's like the big red flag with him. He's like the injuries. And then Gabriel Jesus up top, bro. I would be excited more than you can believe. But Aubameyang, Zaha, Gordon, I can't say I'm excited. I just say I'm intrigued. And I wouldn't say no, but very intrigued to see how it works. And hopefully the output is there. But yeah, with Zaha, are you not excited, Younes?
No. The thing is, our problem, the way that I see it, our problem, especially from last season, has been inconsistency. Yeah, from basically every single player there, they've had inconsistency, you know, written all over it. I'd like to think with some of the players that we're bringing in, Sterling, I don't see we're going to have a problem with inconsistency. Even Aubameyang, I think he comes in. I don't think we'll have a problem with inconsistency. I've just got this not just a vibe, but I think he slots in to what Tuchel wants of him. I think his experience and what he's done at Arsenal, I think is going to help him. He's a good finisher. Just as I've said, get the ball to his feet. I think he'll do the rest. So I'm not really concerned in terms of inconsistency. With Zaha, I'm a little bit like, I think he might have inconsistency. I mean, we even see it at Palace sometimes. He's so on some games, and then games he's so off. And I'm like, if you're going to be like that at Chelsea, you're basically like the rest. You know what I mean? Although, on the flip side, again, who's out there? I don't think, is there anyone out there? Like, we missed out on Rafinha, missed out on Dembele. As I've said, do I think he's an upgrade on what we have? Yes, so probably have to bite the bullet and see what happens. I just hope, if he were to come to Chelsea, that he finds a new breath of life and a new motivation, pushes himself even more, and hopefully takes himself to the next level. Maybe it's because he's at Palace that he can't do more. Maybe at Chelsea, he pushes himself more and he finds new levels. I'd like to think that's the case, and hopefully any worry of inconsistency goes out the window.
The one thing... Yeah, sorry.
It would have to be Younes, because he gets, as Matisse said, second chance in life to play Champions League. You'd think the fire should be there automatically. If he finds motivation being an issue, my man, just stay at Palace forever. Be a legend. Motivation should be straightforward.
The upside to these two, because I mentioned the downside of potentially being crippled in future markets, which I really want us to remain having, you know, spaces for future markets. But then again, this season's battle for top 4 is going to be fierce, and we need to prioritize that, because we can't finish outside the top 4 under no circumstances. It can't happen. And the plus side with bringing in these two together is that, for me, you free up all of the space in the world for Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, and Pulisic to go. All three of them. All three of them can leave. And like I said, I wouldn't cry about it. I think Pulisic, I think he needs a change. I think he needs a change of environment now. I think he needs a new team, more responsibility, a lower level team as well, less pressure, so he can go back on the upwards. Ziyech definitely needs to go, because the system don't suit him, and I don't think the Premier League suits him to a T, because I don't think he has the pace. I think he can excel in some situations, but not in others. And Hudson-Odoi, you know, Tuchel's not going to play you, and your finishing is not on the level it needs to be as well. You know, if you can have the, I've said it before, you can switch play, you can cross, you can key pass, 100% is great. But if you can't finish, and you are one of those attacking players in the final third, in the last, and you have the option to finish, and you can't finish, you're gonna cost us there. So more than happy for him to go out on loan. Was happy for him to go to Dortmund last summer. If he goes to Newcastle on loan or whatever, that's great for him. I want to see what he can do. I think it's a great opportunity for Hudson-Odoi to show what his level is, and I'm actually excited to see it if he does get the right loan. So, and I think it just breathes new life into the team. You know, you would hope. Aubameyang's a good character in terms of like fun. He's a fun character. As much as the unprofessionalism thing does worry me, the fun side of him, brilliant. The squad should love it. It's not like
the mask coming back in Stamford Bridge.
You know, it's not like Lukaku where, you know, maybe he's sulky and coming in and say, I'm the big bollocks into the Champions League winning squad or whatever, you know, kicking up. You know, really, Aubameyang should fit in. He should fit in brilliant. And Zaha, you know, I have no reason to believe that he shouldn't fit in as well. You know, I'm sure he'll be able to fit in. South London boy, Loftus-Cheek, South London boy. He's got a lot of Londoners in there. So, yeah, I think I like it from that perspective. So, as you can tell, I'm like this. I'm not going to cry if it doesn't happen, but I am going to cry if I see the same forwards.
Yeah.
And Tuchel will cry as well.
Yeah, Tuchel. So I don't want Tuchel to cry, to be fair. So, you know, for 50 million, you could do worse. But they have to deliver, man. They have to. There's no excuses for either of them, because they're so old. They're so experienced. They have to deliver. They have to. So yeah, let's see if it happens. What about Gordon? This is a fun one, you know, because we didn't expect this, boys. Really, did we? Where did this one come from? The only Anthony I knew was Anthony Taylor, and that's the Anthony I was onto. I wasn't focused on Anthony Gordon.
It was on the same day as well. This Anthony, bro.
It was. They tried to confuse us. They was like, "Oh, you're angry at this new Anthony. Look, you love him, right?" I think they're clever.
Maybe the source was Anthony Taylor as well. You know, releasing this news so that people forget. Do you know what? I'll share something with you guys. Live chat. Oh, if it is being premiered or not. I was watching quite a bit of Everton last season, mainly because I wanted to see how Frank Lampard did as a manager. I wanted to see what he's capable of, and you know, whether they get relegated or not and whatnot. And whilst being interested to see that, I got to see a lot of Anthony Gordon. And I was saying it, I don't know if I've shared this with Matisse, but I definitely shared it on my timeline. I said, he's the big player for Everton. Like, he's the one that stands out for me. Like, every time I watched Everton last season, I was like, this guy by far stands out from all Everton players. Quick, very quick. Will take his man on. He ain't scared one bit. Has a very good delivery, like crossing ability, whether it's on the right, whether it's on the left. I think he's both footed. Like, he's definitely, the preference is right, but he's capable of doing, you know, both sides. But I always said it's a work in progress. Like, I can definitely see the raw talent in this kid, but a move to Chelsea or a big club is a bit too early for him. But I could see that guy's going to leave Everton in the next season or two, and Everton's going to cash in big time because he's the next big thing. I'm definitely surprised of the name, how quickly this has come to us. But once again, I refer back to what Younes said. The profile does not surprise me. I understand why Thomas Tuchel's looking for a player like him, and I think he's going to use him in that Ruben Loftus-Cheek position, that sort of wide wing back, explosive pace, take players on, whipping crosses from deep or from the byline. And I think he could do it from the left side as well. He could potentially be right or left. His work rate is good. Obviously, we all remember, was it his equaliser against us last season when Everton came in under-19s in the Premier League when they fielded like all young players. I think it was his equaliser. Obviously, finishing is something he has to develop, but he's got the raw talent. So I think you look at the three players we talked about, boys. Zaha, I think, is a bit of a like for like for maybe your Pulisic, Ziyech, you know. Gordon, I think, is what Thomas Tuchel expected from Callum Hudson-Odoi. So once again, another one of those sort of like for like. And Aubameyang, obviously, for one of the strikers, Werner, Lukaku. So he's pretty much, there was a report not that long ago from Jacob Steinberg saying Thomas Tuchel's not scared to rip up the current attack completely and bring in a new set of players. So I think this is what he's doing. And I think, once again, Gordon's very keen. And I think it makes sense. Frank Lampard's keen on taking some of the Chelsea boys. Like there's Batshuayi's name being thrown around. There's Ross Barkley's name being thrown around. I think he wants Billy Gilmore as well. Take Ross Barkley, take Batshuayi, take Billy on loan. Do you know what I mean? Like, we'll help you out. Give us Gordon. Why not? Let's do it.
I think also we have to remember Chelsea have two windows going on here. It's not just one window.
Yeah.
True.
We're buying players for now, and we're buying players that are going to come into the senior squad, and we're buying all these youngsters that are good enough to be in the first team squad. Some of them are not going to be in the first team squad. Some of them are. You know, we got Hutchinson. We know he's not going to be in the first team squad, but he's someone we've brought in with a view for later. Chukwuemeka, he's coming to the first team squad. He's not going to be used all the time, but he's there. Cassidy, that's happening today. We got him from Inter Milan. Is he going to be in the first team squad? Probably. He's just come from Inter Milan. Now, Gordon, there's a demographic here that we're building, and it's almost like a separate window compared to the window of players that we're bringing, like Sterling and Cucurella and all them lots. We've got two windows going on. I think Gordon would fit into that bracket of youngsters that are going to come later. And he's good enough to be used now, I feel, in times where we need him to be used. But I think in about 4 years' time, all these youngsters are going to come in through the floodgates. And I think they're going to rip this entire squad out. And we're going to have a brand new squad, I think, just like that. Or at least loads of players in the squad that I think are going to pop up like mushrooms. And we're just going to start using them because they're ready. I'm looking forward to seeing where it's a project. I'm looking forward to seeing where this project's going to be in like 4 years' time. Where all these 18-year-olds and 19 are like 22, 23. It's going to be interesting. I like what Chelsea are doing here. I think Gordon's going to fit into the mold. You're on mute, mate.
One thing about Gordon is the man runs.
He does. He's going to
press. He's going to press. And really, this is what you said earlier as well, is that, it's all about people who are not afraid to take people on. I think Tuchel's sick of it. I think that aspect there.
Yeah.
As much as we might want an elite passer and all these things, these things are few and far between to find in football right now. There's not many of them. But players that take other players on, if you don't have that, my goodness, what do you have? And I think Tuchel's sick to death of players that will not take their man on, will not try and go past players, will not dribble, and will not cause havoc, and will not disturb defensive shape. And it's always on pass. And that is not only boring to watch, but it's also very difficult to disturb a good defensive shape with only passes when you don't have elite passes.
Yeah.
Well, we know we don't have elite passes. So there's two things we need to do. We need to dribble the shit out of players. We need to just go past players, which is what Zaha can do. Hopefully Gordon can do. Hopefully, I mean, Aubameyang, I don't think can do it as well as those two, but I think if as long as he's got his pace, then that can help. But I don't think that's his main role anyway. And then the other thing is to press and to create turnovers. The first goal against Tottenham is from a corner, and the corner came from us pressing and winning the ball and creating an opportunity. And then it went out for a corner and we scored. We need to be able to press. So as long as the players we sign don't take away from that and they only bring to that press and they work for that press, and then on top of that, when they pick up the ball, they can go past players, then we've upgraded. So yeah, I think it's important. Gordon, do you see Gordon playing in the front three or the wing back position? Because Loftus-Cheek has put in some brilliant performances at wing back now. I'm very impressed. I think he was brilliant last season at the Bernabeu, but we didn't see it too often. We saw Ziyech play this role against Tottenham last season as well. And it takes a lot of responsibility tactically. You need to be able to pick up the ball at right wing back. You need to be able to defend in that five. You need to be able to play in the midfield and tuck in as well. You need to be able to join the Mason Mount in that second line of attack and right attacking midfield. So the responsibility is insane. And I thought he played it to a T. He was brilliant. Do you think Gordon will play in that role, or do you think he goes into the front three? Is he just a front three?
No, I think it's tailor made for that, for our style, the way we play, for that wing back, because that will allow him to isolate players and take them on. Potentially, as he develops as a youngster, as Younes was saying, slowly by slowly. I think Gordon's only 20 as well, or 21, like young man.
Isn't he 18 or 19?
Oh, maybe. Let me have a quick look, man. How old is Gordon? Anthony Gordon.
I think Gordon's 21.
21. Yeah,
oh, he's 21.
He'll be 22 in February. So look, still 21's young, man. Like that's still young. So as he develops, I think potentially someone who could be an out-and-out winger for us. So if you look at the way he plays for Everton, he does play wide, whether it's on the right, whether it's on the left. Not necessarily attacking the box. He likes to attack the byline and then whip in across. You just need someone who can just tap them in, header them in, tap them in. But eventually enough, hopefully he can build on his other aspects of the game and become an out-and-out winger. But for me, I think wing-back spot for the time being. It's got the work rate to be defensive as well. So, yeah, I expect him there. Whether it's right or left doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If all these players come in, this show's made me feel a little bit more upbeat about it. It's just that midfield I worry about. But
come on,
I don't know if we're gonna address the midfield in the market. If I don't know. I mean, we're still in for De Jong, aren't we?
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not confident about him, man. He's moving mad. So I don't know. But that would be the only. Could be a big
deadline day. Could be a deadline day thing.
Yeah, that I think if a midfielder came in, I'd feel a lot more comfortable. Because if Gilmore's going, cool, I've given up on that anyway. And again, I'm not one of these hoarders on Channel 4, like I keep saying, that want to keep everybody and don't want to see anybody go anywhere. If they're not going to be used, let them go. I want to see what they can do. I want to see if I was right to even think that they could make it in the first place. So let Gilmore go to Everton. Although I'm not going to lie, if it was a loan deal, then Brighton, 100%. But if it's permanent and with a buyback, then it doesn't matter. Let him go to Everton.
I don't think we can do 2 loans to Brighton. That's the thing.
Okay. Yeah, we can't. Yeah. And when it comes down to Gordon, yeah, I mean, if you can get Batshuayi out of here, fuck, that's brilliant.
Alonso with Aubameyang, Batshuayi for Gordon. Let's do it.
I'll bite your hand off again. This is brilliant. So again, bring Gordon in as soon as possible. If this is what it takes, makes sense. I think it's just the midfield. I'm very worried about that midfield because we already know where it is. We've seen it year after year. It's not going to change. So we have to find some sort of solution, or Gallagher has to really develop quickly. And be coached into what we need him to be. But again, even if Gallagher does become more of a pivot player, he's still not a 6. So, and he ain't going to become no 6 either. So we are running Jorginho thin again. And I don't know. For me, if you loan Trevor, that only enhances Ampadu's case to stay again, because now you've lost another centre back who plays in a free, and you don't have a DM for Jorginho if need be, and Trev could play DM if need be as well. So for me, if Trev goes, Ampadu has to stay. If Ampadu goes, Trev has to stay. You can't let both of them go, and I don't think we will, to be fair. So
Do you know what? I just thought of something. Barcelona's still after Bernardo Silva, aren't they?
no, no, I don't think they are. No.
Oh, they're not.
No,
Are they not?
Man City fans speaking to you yesterday, and they were all over on YouTube. They were saying that he's staying.
Okay, because
No
I was
way.
thinking
Yeah.
if they were still pursuing Bernardo, Frankie de Jong will have to be kicked out of the.
For real.
He still, I think, needs to be kicked out anyway.
He still needs to be kicked out.
They can't handle his wage. His wage is still going. It's still going up in increments. They can't handle that.
Yeah. I do think time is of the essence. I think it's going to be right now, everyone still has time. When clubs don't have time anymore, decisions need to be made. I think that's where it gets tasty. And that's why I think coming near to deadline day, we've got 2 weeks. 2 weeks till deadline day. I think we're going to see some big moves. By personal fact, I think there's going to be some big decisions taken. You have to make a decision. If not, I say you're stuck with that path you've chosen to go down. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But in terms of that central midfield position, hopefully we manage to get something in terms of a breakthrough for De Jong. Worst comes to worst, it could be worse, isn't it? You could have McFred.
You know what? It could be worse. It could be. It's just that I think this season's top four battle is going to be insane. And I'd rather not be involved in it, to be fair. You know, if you tell me right now that we finish third comfortably and we close the gap to the top two, and hey, maybe even Liverpool drop off a little bit with that midfield issue that they have of their own, because we speak about our issues in midfield. Yeah. I put Battle of the North. I just relaunched it on my channel. For people that haven't seen it, check it out. Got demonetized, so there's no ads, so you should be able to whiz through it quite quickly.
That's too funny.
Should be able to get through that quite quickly. He was speaking to me about the midfield, and Keita injury prone, Thiago injury prone. Fabinho's dropping off a bit. Question marks on Henderson. Elliott, they want to see play more. Chamberlain injury prone. Their midfield issue, good. You know,
Elliott was really good.
He's really good. Matthias Nunes, who's going to Wolves. A lot of Liverpool fans saying, why didn't we go for him? Man United.
Is he going to Wolves?
He's going to Wolves.
He's there. He's done.
He's done. You don't see that, Luke Younes? Oh, you're not on Twitter. Yeah, it's done.
No, I was away. So, yeah.
He's away as well. Yeah, he's done. Yeah, he's signed for Wolves.
More Portugal.
Yeah, more Portugal. Yeah,
more Portugal. So,
the mayor of Wolverhampton at this point will have to change the name to, like, I don't know, Lisbon.
Just do it. Play your matches at Lisbon.
Lisbon Light. Lisbon Light. There we are.
So final thing before we wrap up, actually, because I just seen the time and we've just been talking. I didn't even keep track of the time anymore. When it comes down to, let's just do a hypothetical here. We sign De Jong, Zaha, Gordon, and Aubameyang, all four.
That's the plan.
And we let Fofana. And Fofana. 5. How much money is that? First of all, I know we like maths on here.
Fofana himself would be 80. Aubameyang 25.
Zaha 25.
Zaha 25. So that's 130. De Jong is 70-ish, isn't he?
Yeah, so that's 200.
Yeah. And
Gordon is about 40?
50.
But Gordon should be offset, I think, with players going the other way.
Right. Well, yeah. If Gordon, so 200 million without Gordon.
Yeah, that's you can say 250 without selling anyone, and then we can.
So Gordon's going to be subsidized with swaps, but you're still paying minimum. What do you think? 25 up front, 30 up front?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So let's say 230. Plus, we're getting rid of a couple of players, and then Ziyech, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi got to go. Hudson-Odoi maybe going on loan. Seems likely because Todd Bowie's been pretty insistent. It seems on him on loan. And Pulisic, how much money do we get? And Man United think they're going to take Pulisic on loan. Do they not see how much money? Do they not see my calculator?
I think this is why Todd Bowley doesn't want to do too many loans. Like he's got set players that he wants to send on loans, I think that this is why he's pushing for Pulisic to be a permanent.
But there's no need to loan Pulisic. Like, we don't need, like, either you're staying or you're leaving. We don't need you to go and come back. There's no need for that. You have to be either staying or going. So Pulisic would need to be sold, and Ziyech would need to be sold as well.
Yeah.
And Emerson needs to lower his wage demands to get the hell out as well.
But what's this guy thinking, bro? Do you not want to play football? You're not going to play for Chelsea again.
No.
Are you?
He blew that himself.
In sales,
it was done.
In sales, we need to try and make around about 60, 70 million minimum.
Yeah, we can do that.
Was Timo Werner alone?
According to my calculations. Timo Werner was not that much.
Was it a permanent?
Timo, yeah, permanent. I think
wages, we got him off the wage book, which was huge.
Yeah, the fee,
20 million?
was about, I think about 20, 25, somewhere there.
Yeah. How much have we spent already?
Lukaku, all his wages we're not paying.
Yeah. How much
we got
spend?
10 million as well, didn't we? We got 10 million.
So. I think so.
I think, what we've already spent, Sterling, Cucurella, Koulibaly.
Wow. So we're talking 350 million we're going to spend.
Oh, no, in terms of total, we might hit 4. But it goes to so. You remember at the start of the window, everyone was like,
just to clarify, we're not broke.
There we are.
No, we're not.
At the beginning of the window, everyone was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to pay all these signings within the 200 million wage, but like a 2 million bracket. We're still going to be impossible. We're not going to do that." Look, Chelsea have money. We're okay.
They made any money.
We're okay.
We've got cash. We didn't even consider Chukwuemeka was 20 million.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've got it up. So Cucurella's 55 with add-ons. Sterling 50, roundabout. Koulibaly 34, roundabout. This is all in pounds. Chukwuemeka 16.2, maybe some add-ons as well. The goalkeeper from the US, Gabriela 8.
Slonina.
Slonina. So that's 8, and that's everyone. And obviously Gallagher, bro, your incomings are from loans, and then So even long. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot.
But again, Chelsea wouldn't do that if they couldn't afford it.
Yeah. And this is what I think I remember Roman saying, put aside what was it? Half a billion. 500 million. Put aside. That's for you to buy players. Put that away. But I think it was 4.5 million, 4.5 billion, wasn't it? The sale.
Yeah. But when you look at who's off the wage bill, Werner, Lukaku, Malang Sarr, Rudiger, Christensen, Drinkwater, Sal Niguez. That's a lot of money. A lot of money off the wage bill.
Matt Miazga as well. I think that was done. Permanently, he's out.
Matt Miazga. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But he wasn't probably on that much. But yeah.
And more. Like Alonso's going to be going and things like that. So,
Yeah. Hopefully Emerson. I don't know what's going on there, but he needs to go. Okay, so let's go back to the hypothetical quickly before we wrap up. We signed Fofana. We keep one of Trevor or Ampadu because I think that's important. When injuries come, when rotation comes, we need to have one of them to deputize. Having a great 11 and having poor deputies is gonna make this decision worse. So we're gonna keep one of those two. De Jong, Gordon, Zaha, Aubameyang. All 5 of them come in. Is it 5? Fuck yeah, 5. All 5 of them come in. Emerson goes, Alonso goes, Batshuayi goes, Gilmore goes. Yeah, one of Ampadu or Trevor will go.
Pulisic,
Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi. That's a lot. There's not much
He's
time.
changed the squad.
How many players I just named there? 10. Alonso, Emerson, one of Trevor or Ampadu. I wouldn't even care about keeping both, but anyway. Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, Pulisic, Batshuayi, Gilmore. Barkley's still here. That's 10.
On top of the players that have already left. We would
Lukaku, Werner, Sarr.
By the way, if that all happens, what an ownership for us.
That's mad.
What an ownership. Mad. But I have a feeling 2 or 3 of those won't go. But anyway, if that all happens incoming wise, where what's the expectation? I have to ask. Because Tuchel's under pressure then because he got a lot. You got the dream window, my brother. You really did.
that's the revolution Man United were expecting. Just saying. You know, they were meant to have 10 players out, 10 players in. Well, we've done it. We didn't technically even have to that badly, but we've done it. I have to be honest, the expectation at that point would be for the rest of this season to definitely bridge the gap between Liverpool and City. I would like to think break in between them.
Yeah,
like
either try and separate them minimum.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say you have to try and separate them because Liverpool are still Liverpool, but you have to be the little. You have to try and be the little horse.
Exactly.
Why not?
Into next season, title race, my friend.
Have to try and be the little horse. You have to be up there trying to disturb them as much as possible and be in there until the end of the season. And if you finish 4 points behind second, 5 points behind second, that's all right. But to be 10, 12 points, I think that's not good enough with all that change. That would be insane. That's a lot of change.
That's for this season because there's a lot of change. Like if you're bringing that amount of players, letting that many go, you can't just click your fingers, expect it to all flow.
Yeah.
So for this season, that's expectation because the quality should be there.
Yeah.
Next season, title race, as I've said, we have to be charging for the title. Yeah. That's it. If not, there's no point.
Yeah.
What are we doing? So,
what about you, Miss?
Yeah, man. As soon as you said Frankie de Jong,
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. That's the killer. That's the killer. You if you don't get Frankie de Jong and you get all the others, yeah, you can still say, yep, break in between Liverpool, City, try and stay as close as possible. I don't think we're going to be upset if we finish clear third, just behind City and Liverpool. You get Frankie de Jong with all the other players, because now you've got yourself a proper technical player in midfield. I'm sorry, Thomas Tuchel. I don't think I'm not saying you have to go out there and win the league, but I think you need to push the living daylights off Liverpool and City. You do. Yeah. In fact, I don't even think Liverpool should be we should be able to go past them. With all the stuff that they're going through now, and I know, and we've not even talked about Virgil van Dijk. He's been suspect.
He has
the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Look at the way Look at the way he defended against Zaha. He didn't even want to commit. He allowed Zaha to take that shot.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, what are you doing, bro? Yeah. You're Virgil van Dijk. You're meant to close that shot down, brother.
Yeah,
you were just, there was a really good tweet. Someone said, "Now I know why Virgil van Dijk has really good not dribble past stat. He doesn't commit. He allows the players to go ahead." You know what I mean? So Frankie de Jong, if we get him, we have to be on the nose. We've got to make Man City sweat.
Yeah,
I still think they will win it.
Yeah,
or make them sweat.
They'll win.
And next season, as Younes said, title. You got to go for the title.
Yeah,
no doubts.
Next season needs to be
this season. You could say we have a lot of players coming in, so it's all about gel. It's all about gelling them and style of play. I need the style of play to be more consistently what we saw against Tottenham and less of what we saw against Everton. You get those players in, we want to see more exciting games, more goals. That's your attack. That's on you to coach them and to make sure that if they're not finishing, that's on you, Tuchel, because you signed them.
Yeah.
So they have to in attack be doing the business, and that's on you to make sure they are doing the business because they're your players. But with all those players signed, you could say that's a lot of players. So to immediately just gel and go for and win something is crazy, but you have to be up there 100% because that's too much. That's too much players that have come in. Too much players. That's a lot of change. It's like a lot of experience as well in attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there you go. That's a lot of pressure. and Tottenham are no mugs. Tottenham are no mugs as well. That's an insane summer if that happens. Bloody hell.
I think it's quite possible, man. Besides the Frankie de Jong one, I think all the other ones that we've mentioned, it's quite possible that it could happen that way.
Yeah. Wow. Well, let's see what happens. I mean, we're gonna have our answer by not next show, but the show after that, because that will be the end. That will be the end, isn't it? That will be the transfer window closed. Our show falls on the 25th and the 1st if we do it on Thursdays like we normally do, but sometimes it's on Wednesdays. Deadline day is on Wednesday, 31st of August.
Is it not the 1st of September?
Is it not the 1st? It's 1st of September is deadline day, or is it the 31st? I thought it was 31st, and then as it hits the 1st, that's it, game over. So basically 12 o'clock at night. But I don't know. But we're going to be in and around it anyway, in the thick of it. So we'll know. We'll know on 2 Thursdays from now what out of everything that we've just said, how much of that has really taken place. That Emerson West Ham one really bugs me, man. That was a great opportunity to snag 15 million in the door. Bang, out you go. Job done. Simple deal.
Emerson's the one who killed it himself. Like, we were ready. I think West Ham were ready to pay. Emerson just didn't agree on the wages. I mean, like, this is what I was saying. So many players showed ambition to leave and take a pay cut and go and play. Like your Werners, your Lukaku's. Emerson, I can't believe he just wants to stick around and just collect the wages and not feature.
Insane.
Ridiculous.
And
deadline day, 11 p.m. Thursday, the 1st of September.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting.
We'll have to delay that show for after. Probably it'll have to be like a Friday.
You think Friday? Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah,
it doesn't make sense to have that just.
We need to do a roundup, basically.
Yeah.
We need to do a roundup. Yeah. Okay. Well. Miz, let them know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure. What a show, man.
What a show. The other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen, 16K just around the corner. So let's do that. What do I have coming? Later on tonight, you'll see a wrap-up of today's transfer news. Hopefully, some really good news about Aubameyang. Today, apparently, there's a meeting with Aubameyang. Yep. So, hopefully, here we go sometime early tomorrow, I'm hoping. And, then the weekend. Matches coming along. So, watch-alongs, previews. I'll try and cover some La Liga matches this weekend. Really want to see some Barcelona matches, so look out for that.
Well, there you go. Younes, let them know, bro. Pleasure as always.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, hopefully Barca lose. That'll be great. Keeping tabs on what's going on. Yeah, fingers crossed we get some Aubameyang news later on. That's going to be interesting. We'll see what else pops up. I'll give my views on it all later on. We go into the weekend. Next is Leeds away. Got to love Leeds away. That's always a good fixture. It's a tough one, but it's a good one. We'll see what happens. And as we edge close to the deadline day, I'll just keep giving my thoughts on what's happening.
Just a quick tip for Younes. Younes, tonight, don't go early. Wait.
Oh, yes, wait.
Oh, I know, of course.
Don't do your 5 p.m. drops and then an hour later, that video is invalid. Do you know what I mean? Don't do none of those tricks. Minimum 9.
Yeah, knowing my luck, I'll release at 9 and Fabrizio comes at 9:01.
I
upload at 9:30. Yeah.
Fabrizio is just, man. Someone needs to have a word with him because I don't think he understands. I don't think he understands what we're meant to be working together as YouTubers. He's a YouTuber, you know. He should know better.
I think he waits, you know. I think he's like, he's looking at all of our channels. He
knows when he releases it, it's gonna bang even more because we're all late.
That's it. And then he tweets the "Here we go," and he's like, "Let the chaos ensue."
I bet sometimes he's just sitting on news with the "Here we go" in his drafts, just waiting for the wrong time.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Aubameyang's probably already done, just waiting for Younes to drop. Aubameyang edging closer. Yep, drop it now.
Drop it now.
In that case, my video's coming out in the next half an hour.
Right, guys, listen, make sure you subscribe to all the boys, smash up the likes, and listen, we'll see you next time for another show. We're hotting up now. It's coming towards the end of things, so the conclusion is upon us. In a bit, people. Peace.